Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another product review. And the product that we're going to be taking a look at today is a high-performance flashlight from a company you're probably very familiar with, Nitecore. Today we're going to be taking a look at the EDC33 flashlight, which claims to put out 4,000 lumens. Now, I have never reviewed any flashlight that claimed to have that much power, so I don't really know what to expect. I have no idea how hot this thing is going to be and how bright it really is going to be. 4,000 is a lot. So I'm hoping this is going to be a really awesome flashlight, and it's not really that big of a box, so I don't know how big the flashlight's supposed to be. So let's go ahead and adjust the camera. Let's unbox this. Let's see what comes with it. Then let's try it out here in the garage and outside. Let's see how bright it actually is, and then we'll come back in and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. All right, so here's the box. This flashlight comes in, it says Nitecore 4,000 lumens. There's the item number on the bottom, Nitecore EDC33. On the side here, it says max output 4,000 lumens, max distance 450 meters, max intensity 54,500 candela, impact resistance 2 millimeters, IP rating of IP68. Over here it says accessories included a clip, a lanyard, and a USB-C charging cable. All right, let's open this thing up and see what we get. And here's the light. Nice packaging. Got our user manual. I guess I put it upside down. We got our charging cable. We got our lanyard and clip. And then if we turn it over, there's the light. All right, let's get this thing out of here. And there we go. So that is a pretty cool looking flashlight. Oh, it has a lock on it. I like that. It says lumen shield, trademarked. Don't know what that's about. I'll have to look that up. EDC33. Looks pretty nice. You can look at all the machining on that. That is a really cool looking flashlight. A lot of time went into making that. We got a button here on the back. Looks like we got an orange peel reflector, and that has a big old LED emitter in it, bigger than I've seen on most flashlights. So I wonder how this thing comes apart, or if I'm supposed to tighten down anything. Oh, there's our charging cable port right there. All right, well, I'll just turn it on and see what we get. We get nothing, so obviously I need to either charge this thing up or need to unscrew it and take off a plastic shield on the battery. But I'm going to go through the owner's manual here. I'm going to learn all I can about this thing. I'll come back to you and we'll test out its performance. All right, so I spent a few moments going through the owner's manual, and this flashlight has a ton of settings and a ton of options. The first one I've already discovered, which is the lockout feature here on the side. And this is probably a great safety feature because this light is very bright and does get very hot. And you don't want this light coming on when you are not around, because I can see it being a safety hazard. All right, so the button on the back will have two settings. If you push it down about halfway, it will go to an immediate 1700 lumen spotlight. It's a very directional light, and I'll show that performance when I turn off the light here in the garage and go outside. And if you push the button all the way down and hold it down, it goes to the 4,000 lumen floodlight, and that's what they call the lumen shield. I guess that's the technology that's in it, and it says it right down here, lumen shield. So that's the 4,000 lumen floodlight. Now, if you want to use it like a regular flashlight, you simply have to push the button down. And this is one of the things when it's a single button for the function of the light that I always struggle with. You got to figure out the timing, and every light's a little bit different. So I have to push it all the way down, and it should stay on. There we go. And we have a few settings here. So once it is on, you can toggle through them by going to the halfway position on that button. And we have an ultra low, which is supposed to be 5 lumens, a low, which is 70 lumens, a mid, which is 300 lumens, and a high, which is 1200 lumens. And even if the light is on, if I push down to the halfway button, it goes to the spotlight. And then if I push it all the way down, it goes to the floodlight. So you can get to those special settings above high at any time by depressing the button a particular distance. So this is a very, very bright light. Very impressed with it. You also have a battery indicator here on the side with some green LEDs. There's 4 of them, so if all 4 are lit up, it's fully charged. And from just using it here on the workbench for a few minutes, this bezel gets really, really hot. So you probably don't want to use it in the spot or the flood feature for too long. And that's about it. This is a very, very bright and powerful light for its size. I'm very impressed. All right, so let me turn off the lights here in the garage. Let's test it out inside, and then we'll go outside and see what it looks like. All right, so let's start off inside, and as always, I have the camera pointed to that little alcove in the back of my garage. Let's start this first on the ultra low setting, and there it is. That's supposed to be 5 lumens, but I think that is way more than that. It's actually pretty directional. That is actually very functional in low light situations. All right, so now let's go to the low setting, and it's still a very directional light with a very intense hot spot. It's pretty good. Let's go to medium, and even brighter. The spill is getting more pronounced. And then finally we'll go to high, and as you can see, that really lights up the garage here. That is a great general purpose flashlight with a very intense hot spot. All right, so now let's check out this spotlight. Now something I've noticed with the spotlight is that the color of the light changes a little bit. I think it becomes a little bit more white and intense. So here is the spotlight right there, and you can see the change in the hot spot. That's very interesting. All right, so you can see that is pretty much taking all the power we had before and making it very, very directional. And of course, here's going to be the 4,000 lumen floodlight. Even more. Now, I don't know if that's coming across on the camera there, but it is pretty much lit up this garage. This thing is very bright. Now this light is getting very, very hot in my hand. So if you're going to use those special settings, you're probably going to need to use them very, very sparingly. But it's not getting warm on the other settings, the ultra low, low, medium, and high. All right, so that's what it looks like here in the garage. Let's go outside and let's check what the throw of this light is like. All right, so here we are in my backyard, and let's just test out the regular features of the flashlight first. So let's go to the ultra low, and let me get it to that setting, and there we go. So that is the ultra low, and that thing still has a pretty good throw on it. You guys can see how far that's going. That's the other side of my yard there. Pretty darn good. All right, let's go to the low. Still very, very directional. That's very functional on such a low setting. I love the intensity of that beam. Then we'll go to the medium. Very bright, lighting up my backyard. And then finally, the high. There we go. And you guys can see how bright that is. And it is a pretty dark night because it is overcast. All right, so now let's check out the spotlight, the 1700 lumen spotlight. And you guys can see the houses that are down the block from me. And that is lighting them up. That is quite a long way away. I'm very, very impressed with that. Those trees and that house is quite a long distance away. You can see I'm even lighting up the roof over there. Wow, very, very impressive. And then let's check out the 4,000 lumen floodlight. And it just lights up everything. Man, that is one bright light. I have never reviewed a light this size that has this much power. That is amazing. That is amazing. All right, so there you go. I'm very impressed with this light, and that's the performance of it inside and out. All right, let's go back inside, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So what are my final thoughts on the EDC33 from Nitecore? A very, very attractive light, very robust, lots of features, has that cool lockout feature. I like that, definitely for safety. You have the charging port, which all you gotta do is turn this and it opens up. You can see that, uses USB-C. And you do have the LED battery indicator. So let me turn the light on. There you go. You can see the green LEDs right there telling me the battery is fully charged. And it has lots of different settings. Very impressed with it, even on the low settings. I love the way this light works. It's very functional, and I think gives you tons of options for both general purpose, EDC, and tactical uses. Now, there are a couple of things about this light that I don't like, and that's really saying a lot, saying I don't like something. Maybe I would just prefer a little bit different system. They have a single button control on the back, and I find that sometimes that can be a little bit awkward. You gotta memorize how long you gotta hold the buttons, how far you gotta hold the buttons. It's not necessarily as intuitive as I would hope. But if this was the only light that I was going to use and carry, I don't think it'd be very difficult to get used to that. The other thing is this light is going to get very, very, very hot because there's a lot of power coming out of this LED emitter, and it's a very small light. I don't think there's anything Nitecore can do to mitigate that. So if you're going to use that, you're definitely going to have to hold the light towards the back, and you're not going to want to use those special settings, the spotlight or the floodlight, for too long. You definitely want to use this on the lower settings a lot more. But if you need that extra power for some very specific application, you definitely have it. I'm very impressed by the output of this light, the color of the light, and this might be my new favorite general purpose EDC flashlight. This thing is amazing. It is very, very bright. It's the best performing flashlight I have ever reviewed. And I like some other companies' flashlights, but this one really takes the cake. The quality of this light is amazing. So on my star system, I'm going to give this thing 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the single button on the back, but as I said, if I was going to carry this every day, I could get used to it and get used to the timing. But 5 out of 5 stars for the EDC33 from Nitecore. And as always, in full disclosure, Nitecore did send this for review. So I did get this for free, but I get no other compensation for it. If you buy it, I don't get anything for it. So that is it. Just a light for me to try out, and you guys get my honest opinions. So I'm always upfront and honest with you guys. So there you go, the EDC33 from Nitecore, an amazing little flashlight in a pretty small package with tons of options. And this is the brightest flashlight I have ever reviewed. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you like flashlights, and do you want something this powerful? Because this thing is pretty darn impressive. So, as always, thanks for watching.